Hello, my name is Kyle.
And my name is Rex.
We're your hosts,
and this is the Toasted Bread Podcast.
I love looking at that camera.
We've got two cameras right now,
two cameras.
but I guess it's time for our audience to know about
We need a third camera.
the third camera.
Yeah, we don't have one, pero anyway, you were saying?
Let's get to know about you.
Really? About me?
About you.
And why would the audience care?
I was wondering too.
Yeah, we need to do what the producer says, you know.
Are you even interested? But yes, I guess it matters. Like, why should you be here? Why should we be listening to you?
That's a good question. That's a really.
Yeah.
I think we should start with you, sir. Seeing as you're the senior here, I think you have more experience than I do, like more credibility. And what exactly is your credibility?
Do I look more senior? And do I look more
Not
credible?
exactly. Honestly, you look really young.
Wow.
But yeah, I know.
I don't know if I should believe that now, but well, I think you should know I consider myself as a first generation Christian. Meaning, I really saw how God worked through my childhood when I basically got to know the Lord in Sunday school. But how I got to that Sunday school, I recall, is because I asked to go to Sunday school.
Huh.
And that was somehow through the indirect ministry of my grandmother, who kind of suggested to my parents to bring me to Sunday school. But that's about it. But I wouldn't say that I grew up in a Christian home. My mother is a Catholic. My father is a Protestant. But we didn't really go to church together or have any Bible study. None of that sort. I went to Mass with my mom
cool.
a very few times. Very few times.
Very few or quite a few? Like, what do you mean by very few?
Relatively, for how many years? Maybe we went maybe less than 10 times or something like that. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I consider myself as a first generation Christian, and I think it's really the Lord who shepherded me to where I am now, and it's just wonderful to see how He's worked through my life. But of course, that's something you don't know yet, so
Yeah.
I don't know what points you need to know about that, but basically I've been through ups and downs.
Yeah. It's kind of weird that we're just talking about ourselves. Like,
it is.
first.
How about you? I think you grew up in a Christian family.
I grew up in a. Well, technically, yes. I think I'm a third generation Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure. I don't know about my great grandmother. I know that. Well, I know my on my mother's side, they're Christians.
Mm-hmm.
My father's side, they're Catholic, but my father was never much of a practicing Catholic. Actually, he never really liked the whole going to confessions. My mother grew up in church, and I too grew up in church. But you know what? Growing up, I never really, well, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I never really liked going to fellowships. Like, I know how there are youth fellowships and stuff like that. I went to VBS, Vacation Bible School. A lot of people go there.
You didn't like that?
It was nice.
Okay.
What I didn't like is the fact that there's a lot of people. I don't like all the screaming children.
Okay.
I didn't like birthday parties either, actually.
All right.
Yeah, you know all the party games where the host is just really loud and shouty. You have a microphone.
You didn't like that at all, huh?
I don't like that either. I don't know. I grew up liking the quiet. I don't know.
All right.
I was a weird kid. As you can tell, I had a lot of friends.
So when did you kind of get to know the Lord personally, not because of VBS or?
Well, you know how when as a kid, your Sunday school teacher would probably ask you like, when was the day that you asked the Lord into your heart or accepted the Lord Jesus, right? I never really had an answer for that. I always thought like, did I actually do that? Like,
do you have a date for it?
Till this day, not exactly. I have like a month. I have a month and a year. That's as close as I can get.
Okay.
But like, when I received Jesus, like, that statement almost meant nothing to me. Like, what does that mean?
Okay.
I know what it means. Like, you say that you accept Jesus, but then I didn't really see what that entailed.
Right.
This fits in with like how I saw fellowships. Like, well, to be brutally honest with you, I always thought that. I don't think this now, but like back then, I remember having
Mhm.
the sentiment that they all seem so fake. I don't know,
In what way?
like you know how like there's like games and stuff, and
And then.
or I don't know when you'd hear people talk about the joy
Mhm.
of of God, and like I never felt. I don't think I felt like that kind of joy that they're talking
Did you
about.
feel like it was just a program?
I
That
felt
kind.
in a way, but like for me, I guess it just wasn't something personal. You know, I
Mhm.
felt like
Personal.
like people were just going through the motions. This
Right.
is that it's that Sunday thing, you know. Um,
So when did God become personal to you? When did that start, if
yeah,
at all?
yeah, I have a bit of a boring testimony.
Yeah.
You know how you'd hear guys talk about how God delivered them from drugs. Like you used to be in the gang life,
All right.
or like nah, I didn't have any of that.
But when you come to realize that God is a
No,
personal
but for
God, that
real,
can't be
yeah,
boring,
yeah,
right?
but for real though, I do have there is that moment.
Mhm.
Oh, just to add, I actually grew up, even though like I said, I grew up in church, but there were times like my parents were always like really busy when I
Mhm.
was young.
Mhm.
Um, there were times I'd go to church with my grandparents from
Mhm.
my father's side who were Catholic, and you know, like it was cool. I actually liked, you know, what one thing I actually like about the Catholic Church is their buildings, because the
Mhm.
churches are actually really like they really look good. You know, the high ceilings
Okay.
makes you feel tiny. You know, you actually feel like you're going to worship a huge God.
A
You know,
huge God.
yeah,
A glorious God.
yeah, big one. You're puny. Anyway, there was a point,
Mhm.
like you know, it's always at the back of my mind. Like, when did I actually receive Jesus? I remember when I was a kid, I'd like once in a while I'd like pray. Nah, I'd pray. No, wait, no, I wouldn't. Once in a while, I'd think, now, when did I receive Christ, or when do I actually do that? You know, I feel like it was a plan of mine. I will definitely do that, like
But
word
not
for
yet.
word, but not yet.
But not yet.
Now maybe when I'm older, you know. Yeah, I have my whole life ahead of me. But then there was this
Okay.
one point. There was this one point in like eighth grade. I had this batchmate. Like he'd
That's high
ask.
school.
Yeah, it's high
Eighth
school.
grade.
Second year. They call it eighth grade
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Anyway, I had this friend. He wasn't a Christian by any means,
Mhm.
but he asked me, "Hey Kyle, where do you think people go to when they die?" And
Mm.
my instinctive answer was to say, you know, I think that they go to wherever their religion says they go. And then
Mhm.
and like you know we our normal conversation continued. But then as I went home, I sort of thought to myself and realized it didn't sound like a very Christian answer. Yeah.
You remembered you were a Christian.
Yeah, something like that. Or I realized that maybe I wasn't. You know,
Oh, okay.
like
And then?
maybe I didn't really believe the whole I'll be I don't know, like when I die I'm going to go to heaven because I'm a Christian.
Mhm.
At the time it didn't feel like something I actually did hold on to, you know.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I was stressing out about it for a bit. And vacation Bible school of that year, right?
You have VBS at eighth grade?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
And
pretty
then?
sure there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was.
Okay, that's nice.
I don't know.
And
At
then?
eighth grade, I still felt like a child. You know, I'm.
Oh, I still do until now.
Yeah, I just celebrated my second 11th birthday last year.
I wouldn't share mine. And then?
It's okay.
So you got to thinking about that your answer,
Yeah.
whether
Anyway,
where do you go when you die?
yeah. Um, you know, for me, death wasn't really something of much concern. I could always like rationalize my way out of it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I die, I disappear. Okay. But
Mm-hmm.
okay. Anyway, vacation Bible school. That time, that question was my not the question, but my response to the
Mm-hmm.
question. my concern wasn't where I go when I die. My concern was whether I really actually meant it when I say that I'm a Christian. And actually, I don't think I even say that much that time. You know,
So you were asking yourself.
if I
Nobody was asking you. You were asking
yeah,
yourself.
it wasn't about whether whether I go to heaven or hell. It was about whether I was being a hypocrite.
All right.
For me, that mattered more. Like whether I actually meant what I believed.
So what happened then?
It's like I don't know, during BBS at that point, like I thought, nah, okay, now definitely now I'm going to ask Jesus into my heart, right? That was like for real that
For
this
real.
time, yeah. And I said I'm gonna remember this day. Yeah, I forgot that day.
But did you pray the prayer?
Yo, for real, yeah, I did, but this time with a little bit more seriousness
Okay.
than I did before. Anyway, that was 8th grade. But fast forward to 10th grade. Like, I found out that there were a bunch of my batchmates who were actually Christians. If you know, in high school, we barely really talk about it.
About it.
Yeah,
But
you
you
know.
talk about other things.
No, because, like, yeah, of course.
Of
It's
course.
high school. It's high school. You talk about a lot of dumb stuff.
Okay, but you talk
But,
about
you know,
this.
we were in the Philippines. It's a Catholic that's majority. It's a country that's majority Catholic, and well, we're in Iloilo, so we're even more Catholic than most of the rest of the country.
Yeah.
You know, like you know how Western and Central Visayas.
So what did you
probably
talk
the
with your
most
friends about?
Catholic place. Anyway, no, not that. I mean, I found out that there were Christians in my batch, right? Then one of them invited me, like, "Hey, Kyle, want to start like a weekly fellowship?" And like, sure. I mean, it sounds like the Christian thing to do. Why not? You know, it's at the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm really a
Let's
Christian,
do it.
yeah. All right, let's do it. And then for a while, it went good. Then at some point, there was like, no. Then I realized, they don't worship the same way we did, like in our church.
Okay.
That's when my mind was. Well, that's when, I don't know, younger Kyle was open to the world of like other denominations. Ooh, they exist. You know, it's not just you're a Baptist. Oh, if you're not a Baptist, you're probably Catholic. You know, if you're not a Catholic, you're probably Baptist.
Right. So different style of worship. Huh?
Yeah. Like at first, like that didn't really matter because I've been exposed to that before. Like in elementary, you know, I went to in my elementary school, we had like some certain programs where there's a lot of singing and dancing. It's definitely not
In
Baptist.
church.
Not in church, in school.
Oh, in school.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
was a system-wide thing, and like if you went to the same school I did, you'd know what I'm talking about. Not dropping anything here.
Singing and dancing. Okay, I think everybody has PE. Everybody has PE somehow.
Yeah. Anyway, so the different form of worship they didn't really bother me. I just thought, we still use the Bible. We still pray. Christian enough for me.
Same
Yeah.
God, I hope.
Yeah, it's the same God. Of
Okay.
course, definitely. You have the Trinity and all. Anyway, at some point there was a certain practice. Again, I'm not dropping anything. There was a certain hey, our producer is he's having flashbacks. Anyway, there was a certain practice like that made me question. Okay, now that's new. Like it's either I'm not as spiritually grounded or like I'm not spiritually mature enough to receive this kind of teaching or understand this kind of practice. Either that or something is definitely wrong here. Yeah. And then that's when I realized I was never really grounded in my faith. I don't think I was. Even though I'm not blaming all the Sunday school teachers here. Like y'all did a great job. I swear. But I guess I just never really internalized it,
All their teachings.
Yeah. I knew, when you know that you're told that Jesus is God or anyway.
So at 10th grade, your faith was somehow being challenged in a way.
It was shooken. It
Shook.
was shaken. Yeah,
Shaken.
Shook. Shooken. Shaken.
And how did you respond to that?
that was when I realized, okay, now I'm gonna take it seriously, like actually serious. Yeah. Like,
That's the second time
yeah,
you told
like
yourself
no,
to be
but this
serious.
time, this
Okay.
time I tried to get to the root, like who is God actually, you know, like does God actually exist? Like get to
Mm.
the actual root of it, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like if there really was a God, and that's when I started like going down a whole rabbit hole
Of
of YouTube videos and stuff like that.
thank you, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube, not exactly the best place to go, but you know what? You know what? I approached everything with a sense of doubt, like not just
You were
whether.
skeptical of
Yeah, I
everything.
was not just skeptical of whether God existed, but I was skeptical of the skepticisms against God. Like I wasn't sure
You were fairly skeptical of both
about both.
sides.
Yeah,
Okay.
both sides. But you know, eventually you have to realize that I don't know. Eventually, like you realize that there's no such thing as being truly neutral. You know,
All
people
right.
have their biases, but you know, no matter how hard I tried to convince myself that
Mhm.
God didn't exist, I don't know. I just couldn't do it, and I couldn't convince myself either that God did exist.
Mhm.
Not fully convinced. Like
So did you pick a side?
it always like you know for a while I didn't pick a side, but I just kept on reading. I just kept on listening to videos and reading, and you know like let's assume he does, right? Like did the thing now. Let's assume he does because I wanted to move on to what form of Christianity is
Mhm.
like the authentic one. You know,
Mhm.
you have your Baptists and your Catholics, and then you had your charismatic movement somewhere there, and then you know you had to see because I started doubting each and every one of them, and
All
like
of them.
one of them had like there had to be like you know like the real one, right? Eventually, like after watching a bunch of videos, reading a bunch of articles. There was this
Thank
one
you,
video.
YouTube.
I got to, yeah, thank you, YouTube. You've done so many sins. This one is not one of them.
So what
um,
did you see?
I passed by a video of a street preacher, and like this like you know I've seen a bunch of them before.
Mhm.
Nothing new, but he was just saying the exact same things I've heard in Sunday school, but this time it hit different. You know,
Mhm.
he said the way he said it, I guess. He said that he asked the guy um, if you have stolen, what does that make you? You're a thief. If you
Mm.
yeah stuff like that. So what do you deserve if God was the one to judge you, heaven or hell? Like, I mean, of course you've heard that too, right? A bunch
Right.
of times. But then he said that that's why Jesus had to die on the cross because he paid the penalty for your sin. I
Mhm.
don't know whether like I just wasn't listening
Mhm.
when I was young, or maybe the whole idea of like paying the penalty for something
Mhm.
didn't like make sense before. But at that moment, like felt like it made sense that Jesus died for me. Like that wasn't just some arbitrary
Right.
statement anymore. It
Right.
actually felt
Right.
like
Right.
you realize Jesus died for me. Like every word there actually started to click. And
Yeah.
then everything that I learned from Sunday school kind of just crashed down on me. And like, oh no. It felt like a huge weight of oh no.
You realized you were a sinner.
Yeah, exactly. Like there
Mm.
was you're told that we're all sinners. But
Yeah.
then when you actually realize it for yourself, I am a sinner. Like I've never done drugs. I never touched
Mhm. Mhm.
alcohol.
Mhm.
Like I know all the heinous things that my batchmates do. I'm sorry, guys. You all know what you're doing. Uh, but I mean, I'm not exempt from no from. I wasn't exactly like absolutely upright or righteous either.
Mhm.
Just saying that if I were to compare myself to like other people, I probably wouldn't be the worst out there. At
Yeah.
least that's what like by comparison. But then despite that, like there was this huge weight that I actually offended a holy God.
Mhm.
That felt it felt real at that moment, and I didn't even like really pray words. I just ended up crying.
Right.
Like that's it. And then if I were to say what day I received Christ, that would be it. I still forgot the day though.
But you were on 10th
I
grade.
still forgot the day.
That was 10th grade.
Yeah,
time.
that was 10th grade. No, summer after 10th grade. It was
Alright.
on the way to 11th grade. So probably June or July of 2017. Yeah, because I got baptized on October of 2017. Yeah.
All right. Right.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of turning point that we should cherish, that we should
that's
somehow look back to, right? I think that's your spiritual marker in a way.
yeah,
Some
spiritual
call it that.
marker.
Well, let me share what I've been through. I mean, I've been through a lot. I've always been,
I can
I could say, I was a serious kid until now.
A serious kid.
A serious
Both.
And I was seriously reading my Bible, and I remember my mom had to stop me from reading my Bible when I was sick. They said God would understand. But I was just reading that. I had a devotional thing where you kind of tick marks, so I was kind of religious in doing that. And then I went through a season in college where I kind of went away and became too busy and all that. And, sins also got in the way. But I would carry a Bible. For good luck, maybe.
Anting.
But later on, fast forward when I was working already. So I was at work, and then I got in this church for some. I wanted to go to church, but that's when somebody actually invited me to discipleship, and there was this thing that we did in one of those lessons where you had to list down all your sins on a piece of paper.
Oh, that's heavy.
Of course, nobody was looking at my list except God, and I mean, my discipler wasn't looking at it.
No.
But I had to list it down on a piece of paper.
Did you burn it?
And then he asked me to write 1 John 1:9
Oh, it's that.
over it. It's like, crossing out all your sins with, if
Right.
we confess our sins, He is faithful and just to forgive us and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. And then as I was writing that, it's like, this is it. This is how God forgives. Like, all of these sins on this piece of paper are no more. And you tear it up and then throw it away. It's like,
You didn't burn it?
no,
I think that would've been more fun.
I don't know what I did, if I flush it down the toilet or something.
Okay,
But
that's true.
like you, we knew all these things,
Yeah.
but at that moment, it felt so real when it's like, Eureka, Lord, this is it. Like, I wouldn't say that was it might be the date that I would remember, but I forgot as well. But that was the moment when I understood
Yeah.
why Jesus died for me.
Yeah. At least you didn't remember the moment.
I mean, we knew for a long time what Jesus did and why we need a Savior, that kind of thing. I mean, I received Jesus Christ seriously, with all seriousness, as a little kid after Sunday school.
How old were you again?
Sunday school?
No.
Oh,
Like
this
when-
one,
yeah,
this
that-
moment, I was in my 20s.
Ah,
Yeah,
Like-
early
like
20s maybe, mid-20s.
What
Yeah.
do you mean mid-20s?
I forgot.
3?
I don't remember the date, I'm telling you. But it was that moment when I wrote 1 John 1:9 over it and tore up the piece of paper. I mean, that's that was so meaningful to me.
Huh.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's important for us, and I hope you too would have kind of that moment when you can look back, when God was just so real, that God wasn't just a concept in your mind where, I know Jesus died for my sins, but really, maybe in your case, you realized that you were a sinner.
Yeah.
In my case, I had to list down my sins. Right? It's important for us to realize that we are sinners.
Yeah.
And then only then will you really appreciate what Jesus did for you.
True. I remember a preacher once said, if you can't appreciate the stars in daytime, like
Right.
if it is just so full of, if the whole sky is full of light, you can't see how beautiful the stars are. You can only see how beautiful the stars are at night. It's like if all you're told about God is all the good stuff that He does, then you'll never get to see how beautiful the death of Christ on the cross really is. Like, if you don't have that backdrop of your sin, you won't see the beauty that twinkles at night, which is what Jesus did for us.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So Kyle, what do you do now?
I don't
Tell
know.
us.
Well, so I guess that's us. That's our background.
We could talk about that more.
You can talk
next
about that
time.
all day, honestly. But what matters is now.
What do you do? I asked first.
what do I do?
Yeah, what do you do?
What do I'm why am I even here? Like, I don't, I'm a student. Like I haven't even graduated yet.
Yeah, what are you taking up?
What am I taking up? You know, one of the courses that you get for like 4 years, and then you find a job that you're not.
Is that good enough, Mr. Director? Well, I have graduated. Yeah, one of those courses that you need to take because everybody expects it of you.
Yeah,
But your field at least is you're studying in the field of.
The field of agriculture.
All right,
Yes,
right.
I'm a farmer.
A farmer. Well,
I'm sorry. I just love not making that joke.
maybe he likes keeping a little bit of mystery.
Like, it always offends people when you call agriculturists farmers. I just find it really funny. And
Why
I can make
not?
that joke. I'm in agriculture.
So if he's a farmer, I must be a fisherman. No, I'm a fish farmer. No, I don't actually farm fish, but I'm in the field of fisheries, specifically aquaculture. Yeah, agriculture, aquaculture.
Yeah.
It's nice that we like farming in a way. Or do you like
Yeah.
your course?
That's nice.
Yeah, I like my course too
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah, and you know, Jesus talked a lot about fishing and gardening.
So, so Kyle is studying, and I'm actually working in a research center, but I don't do the research. I kind of do the communications part of,
Wait, so you work at a research center, but you don't do research?
Well, I do research the information, but I mean I don't do the actual research in the lab with the live fish or shrimp or whatever it is. But I do research the information. I process information and make it understandable to everyone. So that's kind of what I work.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Maybe if I wrote about plants and insects, maybe it would be more interesting for Kyle. But yeah, fish. And shrimp and.
I like shrimp.
So that's a little bit of what we do on the ministry side.
Oh, on the ministry side.
Do we do ministry?
What do you do, sir?
Yeah.
Rex?
I'm a Christian. That's all it has to be for me to do ministry. At least that's what I believe. So, well, yeah, of course I have friends, and anything I do with them hopefully is a ministry to them.
Time out. What is
Wait, do
ministry?
I have friends? Ministry.
What
Ministry.
what is ministry? What's
Do I get to ask a friend? Yeah, so Kyle, help me define what ministry is. Ministry is
ministry. Well, literally speaking, the word ministry just means serving, right?
Right, serving. So if you are a minister, you are a
waiter.
Server. No, we serve.
Server.
In whatever capacity we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
wait, if you're serving, then who are you serving?
Well, that's a deep question. It can be answered different ways, but let's go straight to the point. We serve our King. And if our King tells us to encourage a friend or, treat them out for dinner, then that's our ministry to them.
Oh, so you're not serving the church.
If they are a Christian, then they are part of the church. But let's not get too deep on that. Yes, we have home churches where we serve in, and I think we do go to the same church, don't we?
We do?
We do,
huh?
I think, yeah.
Really?
Local church.
I don't see you.
So we do have different ministries, I think, in our local church, and that's one thing, right? So I like my ministry teaching kids, but I do also serve with adults in many other ways.
Doing what?
A lot of things. I've been through a lot,
That's so vague.
Helping people basically, just in everything, but anyway.
Nurses help people.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, let's say discipleship. So.
All right. Okay, now
but,
you have to define what discipleship is.
anything that I do for the glory of the Lord that impacts other people and somehow draws them closer to Jesus Christ, I think is discipleship.
That's a very broad way of saying it.
Because I could not be very specific right now because we have limited airtime.
Yeah, we should probably get a guest for that, huh?
That's a preview on discipleship, and it's if it's too deep for you, then stick around and see our next episodes. But you, how do you minister then?
How do I minister? Well, you know what? The church just calls me up when they need me. No, but so sometimes I just hang out where ministries already exist, and if they need me, they could just ask me to do stuff.
Well,
like for example, any production, like there's a production church for kids. I'm pretty sure you're involved in it too. The production for teaching children. Actually, before the whole pandemic thing, I also used to teach kids. Like, yeah, even when I was in college and I went to a different church, I also taught kids there. Teaching kids is a really
makes you feel young, eh?
No, it just makes you feel more mature because you actually have other people to compare yourself to.
Well, I guess it works different ways for different people, but one thing is,
Wait, you
like
feel
teaching.
young when you're teaching children?
Maybe I just feel like myself. Anyway, forgive us for being so vague, but maybe we can talk about the details if
maybe we can be a lot clearer when we have a guest.
Yeah, if you have questions, personal questions, or if you need details, you can comment it in this video if our admin allows comments at all. Or maybe Facebook or YouTube.
If you're wondering what we keep pointing at, it's basically like
an outline to
an outline of what we can talk about.
Because our mind goes just everywhere. So anyway, what is this toasted bread again? Why are we doing this? I guess this is our ministry now.
Yeah.
At least one of them.
Ours.
So why are we here? What are we trying to do?
Oh yeah. Well, like we said, maybe if you watch the trailer or something. We're here hopefully to inspire people to figure out what their calling is. What they should be doing to serve Christ, to serve other Christians near them. To figure out what their spiritual gift is. Maybe you don't, you've been in church for a while, but you don't really do much. You're just there to sit down, listen to a sermon, then go home. You feel like you should really be doing more. I hope that this would help you find out what God is calling you to do.
Yeah, may you be inspired, and for you even to know that you don't need to be in church to serve God. You don't need to be in church to be a minister, like we mentioned earlier. Yeah. You can be anywhere, just doing your thing, doing your job, and if you do it for the glory of the Lord, you become a salt and light. You impact other people. That's ministry, right?
Yeah, exactly. But just to be clear, you should go to church.
Oh, you definitely should.
Yeah,
but
don't forsake the gathering of the saints.
Yeah, no problem about that. But you are part of the church, and so by ministering to other people outside the church, you are actually bringing the church to them. So we're not talking here about a building. We're talking here about a group of people, a group of Christians as the church. Yeah. So we have the physical church building, but more importantly, if you're a Christian, you are part of the church. You are the church along with the rest of the saved people of God.
So sorry. When on the internet, sometimes people would joke around and say, I don't need to go to church. I am the church.
Is that YouTube again, Kyle?
No, it's not. Because there was a point where that got really trendy. People say that they don't need to go to church because I am the church. Which really misses the point. When we say that the church is a group of people, what we mean is that the Church of Jesus Christ is when believers gather together so they can be a blessing to one another.
Yeah.
You can't just say that, I'm part of the Church of Jesus Christ, and I am the church. I don't need to go and be with other Christians. No. The whole point is that you need to be with other Christians.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can worship the Lord together.
We are the church. We together with Christ in our midst, we are the church. But it's not not individually, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we'll be bringing in guests, other people to talk about their lives and just how they are ministering outside of church, right? Like whether it's in their work or even in their families, you can be a minister there. So you don't need to be a pastor preaching on the pulpit or a Sunday school teacher. You don't need to be doing a podcast like we are. You can just be living a normal life and yet obeying God perfectly in expanding His kingdom. And that is given whatever occupation you might be having, whatever spiritual gift you can be having, and doing it for God's kingdom. And so, we hope that you will be inspired. And the only way for you to be inspired is if you stick with us, you subscribe, and you watch our next episodes and hopefully recommend it to others as well. If you've got suggestions, this is our first episode. We'd like to know what you think, what you could suggest as well. And besides, if you're a fellow Christian, you are part of the church with us. So let's help build this podcast together.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kyle?
Yep. Amen.
Amen. All right. So, what else?
Huh? We still have time?
I don't know. We're supposed to have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's
you
enough.
Know what? Let's go to the most awaited question. Why is it called toasted bread?
That's a good question.
Right?
Yeah. Toasted bread.
You have toast? I don't think we have toast. There's nothing in this.
We don't even have bread, Kyle.
We don't even have bread.
But we do have the bread of life.
Bread of life. Yeah. That was a very smooth transition.
But is there a connection between toasted bread and the bread of life? Now you tell us, Kyle. I think you know more about this.
I don't know. I mean, who doesn't like toast?
What's your favorite style of toast anyway?
Not too black.
Not too black.
The golden brown kind. Did you know you can toast bread on like on a frying pan, like just lather butter on one side, then butter side down.
Okay.
It's gonna taste great.
And that gives you the golden brown color.
Or you could just use a toaster, you get the same effect.
All right, as long as it's not black enough to cause cancer or something. I like mine with melted cheese, quick melt cheese. Yeah, I like. And so, which brings us to the most important question of all. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, sure.
Kyle.
Yep.
Why toasted bread?
Indeed. Well, Jesus is the bread of life. And who doesn't like their bread toasted?
So that's toasted bread, huh?
Yeah, well, there's nothing. It doesn't have to be. Not everything has to have a deep meaning. Just toasted bread. Well, we just like bread.
Okay. Well, who doesn't like their bread toasted?
Yeah.
And it's good to give it that little extra crisp.
Yep.
And golden brown color.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
my name
anyway,
is Rex.
You know what? I think that's I think that's enough. That's all the time we have for today. Again, my name is Kyle.
And my name is Rex.
And
this is the Toasted Bread Podcast.
Thanks for watching our podcast. Like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates on future content.